Hi everyone, it is Fitz with your daily delivery. Hope you're doing well. I am good. Being very productive for a bye week for Kansas State football, getting organized, which is not my strength, but we're getting there. Lots of coverage at GoPowercat podcast all week. We had one on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we're cooking along, bringing you more news about the Cats, including basketball news and football recruiting coming up. I saw something on Wednesday that really caught my attention. It was a headline from Outkick.com that said the AP poll has become a SEC biased joke. And I agree. Yesterday I poked some fun at Brent Venables and OU with the sad piano commentary that I love to do. Today we're going to continue that and discuss why this is correct, but also noting that Outkick.com was founded by Clay Travis, an SEC guy, a Tennessee guy. So to see him come out this way and have his site admit this has kind of turned into a joke, it kind of hit home. First, I need to thank you. We've crossed 17K. It's an amazing, I just can't believe, I never thought we'd get to 10K. So now we turn our attention to the next goal. But today I want to thank you. And if you're not subscribing, go ahead and do so. It really does help us out. The SEC gets every kind of break you need from voters. It all starts in the preseason poll when they load it up with SEC teams. So they have this great level of head start on almost everyone else. And it has become very disgusting how obvious it is. There are 10 SEC programs out of 16 in the top 25 poll for the AP. 5 in the top 10, although the first SEC entry doesn't come in at number 4. But I should note this, that the top team from the Big 12 is at 6. It's Texas Tech. They are unbeaten and behind one loss, Alabama. Now, maybe Alabama is better, but I'm going to say it. Texas Tech is unbeaten. And if we're going by the eye test, I'm a guy who's covered the Big 12 since the first Big 12 game was played. I've seen great Big 12 teams. I've seen Oklahoma and Texas at their high points. I've seen other great programs, including Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and others have impressive seasons. I would put this Texas Tech team up against any of them. Any of them. But their presence is being devalued because they're not in the SEC or Big 10. They're in the Big 12, and that must make them bad or not as worthy. It's gotten really disgusting. Everything seems to be, how does this work best for the SEC? The article points out LSU as an example. LSU's 2 most impressive victories are over Clemson and Florida. Great names, but put together they have a losing record. They're not very great teams this season. They have some bad losses. And yet, LSU is given full credit for beating them, as if they were Clemson and Florida in their heyday. You have no other notable wins, and they're still up there. This goes on all the time. The standard by which the SEC judged is completely different than everyone else, and it's getting pretty tiresome. It's all rooted in, of course, the preseason polls that give them that head start, as I mentioned. And now it's hard to unwind that. The books are cooked. But here's the real reason why. There used to be a day when the networks that carried college football kind of separated their broadcast entity from their news and analysis. That's over now. The stakes are too high. ESPN has invested a lot of money in the ESPN, and it's become, in many ways, the ESPN network. They hype them, they give them the best time slots, and they try to boost those ratings with an ongoing narrative of greatness. Maybe it's true, but it's persistent, and even when proven not to be true, the SEC hasn't played for a national championship in 2 seasons in a row, and yet they're still the best. They are the best overall conference, but I'm going to say this and say it emphatically. The gap that ESPN envisions isn't that great. It really is not. Maybe the middle is a little deeper than what it's been in the past for the SEC, but often bad SEC teams are really bad. And they also get the forgiveness of 4 non-conference games, 3 of which are typically against really bad opponents. I can't wait for November to watch those games that ESPN has paid so mightily for. It is very tiresome because now ESPN is on a constant sales pitch for the SEC. It's their business. They need people to watch. They need people to be brainwashed and accept the narrative that the SEC is most dominant and they will trample on every other conference. And it's not true. We've seen it over and over. And I've seen it with my eyes. I've seen SEC teams play against Big 12 teams, and it's never as tilted as you want. It maybe is at the very top. There's no doubting that Alabama and Georgia have gone on historic runs. But now that the rules of college football have changed, and I think you know what I mean, there's more balance. The transfer portal and NIL has allowed everyone to pay players and players to move freely from being buried on a depth chart to being useful players at another school. College football's changed, but the perception of the SEC hasn't, and it's because of ESPN. It was good to see Outkick, which is now part of Fox in some ways, push back. But I do stop and wonder, was that pushback belonging to the fact that Fox is invested in the Big Ten? I know this. The Big 12 has no such ally. They are second fiddle in both of those networks, if not third. It's time for the Big 12 maybe to find that lead television partner. CBS maybe, or a combination of CBS and TNT. We'll see what the next contract brings. But if everyone's got their soapbox upon which they stand, and ESPN is the tallest of those soapboxes, the Big 12 needs one too. And in a game of narratives, the SEC's winning a lot more than in a game of football.